we made it.
Dialogue, yeah, true. This is when Elizabeth looks really bad, and let's just go live when Elizabeth is like screwing everything up. That's good. That's all right.
Well,
This
we're
is
live.
authentic. We are live.
Leadership
Yeah.
from the heart, Miss Elizabeth. Oh my goodness.
All right, everybody. We've had a few tech problems. Do not judge my background or my messiness. And we are here. And I'm glad it's you two of my dearest friends, two of my tribe, two people that I absolutely adore. Renee Funk, hi, my friend. How
Hello,
are
my
you?
friend. I'm excited to talk to our amazing guest today.
Oh my gosh. Tatiana, beautiful friend. How are you?
We are in the house.
Yay! We made it.
I know. We're not finding you in beautiful Vancouver either. We're finding you where today? I never know where you are, by the way.
We are in the Okanagan, which is the wine country of Canada, which is the warmest place in Canada. And I'm surrounded by, probably 300 wineries and a gorgeous lake.
Wait,
So
is there wine? Is there wine over there somewhere? You must have a glass of wine, Tatiana.
A lot.
I just wish this conversation was actually live and we were there. So we'll make that plan B. That'll be the second round. But
Yes.
oh, cool. There's a UPS truck. That's awesome. This is going to be so fun. Okay, so I am so excited Tatiana's here with us today because, I mean, she's not only a dear friend that we have had the blessing to get to know over the last few years, but you're doing some pretty incredible things. I mean, there's so many things you do, but your latest love and your passion, you are the CEO and founder of LY2NK. And we can't wait for you to dive in and just share everything you've been doing, what you're planning on doing, how you're changing the world. You guys are doing some amazing things. So thank you for coming on with us today. We are so excited you're here.
It's absolutely my pleasure. I've been so excited. I've been like counting down the minutes. Okay, 30 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then you're like, Elizabeth, screwing it all up. Okay, get this show on the road. So I'm sorry. Okay, but tell everybody a little bit about you. Like, we know your background and your story and what you've done, but share with us what you want to share about who you are, where you've come from, what makes you tick. I mean, like, we could have 2 hours of this because you're just so global. So anyway, tell us about you.
Well, I'm one of 4, the oldest. I'm an identical twin. Nobody knows that because I never say, hi, my name is Tatiana. I'm an identical twin. I don't say that. Her name is Monica, and she lives in Birmingham, Alabama. And,
I didn't know you are an identical.
You didn't even know.
I knew that.
Oh, I didn't know.
One for Elizabeth. All right, here we go.
Is this what this is about?
It is today. I'm in that mood.
And I call myself the UN package with a pink little bow. That's what I really, because I've got so many different European and Middle Eastern countries in my background, which is the reason for my passion and my extroverted personality and my, gumption to do whatever the heck I got to do, regardless of rules and regulations. So, when you come from that kind of background, you just, you are just feisty. Let's just take it on. I'm feisty and I'm proud of it, Nothing wrong with that. And I was born in Switzerland, in Geneva, Switzerland. So that's where the story continues. And we went to Montreal because it was French speaking. And then my parents retired to this stunning, stunning area. And I was like, you're not going there without me. I'm going. So I left my perfect little employee job because at the time I was employed as a high school teacher. And I came out here with like next to nothing. And I made a life for myself. And I was extremely successful as a teacher, high school teacher, with 3 different degrees from 3 different universities, which I used to think was the deal, but now it's like the most unimportant thing about my life. But that's when I used to be like drinking the Kool-Aid, everybody, that you had to be educated, and God forbid you didn't have a university degree. So to all these women out there, that's not what it's necessarily all about. If that's what you want to do, great. But please do not value yourself whether you have a university degree or not. That's got nothing to do with it. So I got 3 degrees and they really mean nothing to me right now. because of everything else since then. And so I was teaching for 35 years, and I had a great time teaching because I couldn't be a regular employee. And that was the closest thing to having my own business that I knew at the time. And I taught for 35 years high school, and I taught from grade 6 all the way to grade 12. But my niche was grade 8, 9, 10. That was my niche. And I was not your average teacher. I started in physical education, ended up in the classroom, French speaking, ended up teaching modern languages, which French as the language. And then I ended up teaching life skills. And that's where I started to have a lot of fun. Teaching kids everything, the course that nobody wants to teach, right? When you think about careers, oh my God, boring. Relationship, oh my God, boring. But I had such a big umbrella, I could do whatever I wanted, right? So I realized that I loved making a difference in teenagers' lives, and especially in women's lives, young women's lives. So I wanted to be able to impact young women so that they can have an easier, more empowering future. That was my mission. And it was working really well until I hit 40. Well, is that, you're supposed to have a midlife crisis. I guess I did. And
wait a minute, 40's not midlife.
I know, I was going to say, yeah, you're so old, so old.
Tatiana, I'm sorry. That's pushing it. You just made me have a hot flash.
A pre-midlife, okay? Pre-midlife crisis. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Because now you're making us feel really old. So, all right, keep going, keep going.
Older than both of you put together. It's all good.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
And so I just started to question my existence, as they say. And I was like, all of a sudden, I didn't feel inspired anymore. All of a sudden, I wasn't excited to go to work anymore. And so I said one day, there's got to be more to this than just, I really said, is this it? Because I felt I was really successful as a teacher. I was really good at it, but I was bored. So how could you be really good at it and really impact lives, but at the same time, I'm bored. I wasn't challenged anymore. And I thought about going into the administration side of things, but for 20 cents more an hour and 20,000 more stress minutes a day, forget it. It's just not worth it. And so I looked up that summer day. I swear to God, it was a gorgeous July afternoon on a Saturday. And I said, God, there's got to be more to this. And I swear to God, my life started to change 15 minutes later. And here we are today.
Whoa, wait, you can't skip that part.
Yeah, she just skipped all that. Okay, and our show is done now. Thank you for sharing. Okay, come on, dig
Time
in.
to go. Life changed 15 minutes later. Bye.
Yeah.
I ended up meeting this young gentleman in his 20s who was working on my car. And, I started a conversation with him, and I go, you can't be only doing this. Your garage is impeccable. You must be doing something more. He goes, yeah, I teach people how money works. And I was like, give me your business card. And I ended up learning all about money for the next 5 years. I dove into it. And I thought that was my way out. And I loved it. It was all about financial planning and everything, which is very good for what I do today, because I really needed to understand money intimately the way that I do today. And that was my perfect stepping stone. And so I don't think it was a wasted time. I liked it. But in the end, I just didn't want to deal with the masses. I'll be frank. I didn't want to deal with the masses. You go in there, you teach them all that they should be doing, and then they go, oh, well, I'm going to think about it. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. And I just didn't have the patience for it in the end. And so what I decided to do instead was to start working on my mindset, because as a little girl, I'm not lying, I used to think about a boardroom. And I used to think of a long table in a boardroom. And I used to think about myself at the end of this boardroom leading a team. And that was my dream, to lead a team in the adult world. I was leading a team in the adolescent world, which was wonderful, but I wanted to be in the adult world. So I did everything I had to get into the adult world of leadership. And that's where I am today, because I really dreamed about it. And it's actually come to fruition. But how did I get there? Well, I knew that I had to work with this first, because this is what holds us all back, whether you're a woman, a child, a man, probably even a dog. It's your mindset that holds you back. And I realized that I had a big problem there, as we all do. It's a condition of being human. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go find a place that I can learn how to think differently. I needed to be intellectually stimulated around generosity, around compassion, around intellectual stimulation. And I found it. I found a training and development course that is in 22 different countries, that's extremely successful, and it really resonated with me. So I worked really hard in the field of working on my mindset, and everything changed. Everything about my mindset changed, and I learned to get out of my way, face my fear, work through it, no matter how scared I was, do whatever it was, and to realize that whenever you're scared, it's a great motivator, but there's nothing really to be scared at. Just get into action, because when you get into action, you don't have time to be scared. Think about that. Fear does not live in action.
Yeah, you're right.
And
so
true.
So
that's what I started to do. Like to graduate from one of my courses, I had to do many, many things. And I didn't think I was going to graduate from this course, but I was successful. And there was this, I'll tell you this quick story. One of my teammates, she was like one criteria away from passing the criteria to pass this course at this training and development course. And what it needed is she had to do a presentation to a complete stranger. I kid you not. I took her and I ran downtown Vancouver. I ran down the streets of Vancouver looking for someone who would let me go up to their apartment to let them do a 10-minute presentation so that she can pass the course.
You did not.
I did too.
Oh, I can absolutely see her doing that, Renee. I mean, I am literally thinking about and visualizing you running down the street doing this. I am not surprised one bit. Some people I'd be surprised, not one bit.
And I was scared, but I was like, screw it. I'm just going to go have fun. And I had 50 no's till this perfect stranger said, yeah, I live right up here. Why don't you come upstairs? And we did it. And she graduated because I got, as we call it, unreasonable. And unreasonable is a good word when you get out of your comfort zone and you go to be unreasonable, because all you have to do is make a request. And we're just a network of conversations. So I found a woman who liked our faces and we looked safe, and she brought us upstairs. So ever since then, let's go.
It's such a good reminder. And Elizabeth, we've talked about this in the context of this show, Leadership from the Heart series, is that we have to come from a mindset that's presumptive that the answer is yes. Right. And it's not easy. I'm not implying at all that we're always in that mindset, but sometimes you have to tell yourself, the answer is going to be yes, just ask the question. And that's, Tatiana, what envisioning you running through Vancouver, you just knew the answer was going to be yes. You were going to find the yes.
Yeah. You just have to get through a few no's.
Sorry?
I said, just get through a few no's first, but you're going to get your yes eventually.
Yeah, for every no, you're one step closer to the yes.
Exactly.
Amen.
And that's in anything, right? I think
there's going to be a yes.
Yeah. And you got your yes. You're so funny.
You're so funny. Great.
I can't imagine people telling you no, though, anyway. I mean, you're like this, you can't tell right now, but you're like this little feisty firecracker. I mean, can you imagine anybody ever telling her no?
And I cannot. Yeah. And I remember the first time that I met Tatiana, which was the three of us together, and that was in New York, right after the NASDAQ. Well, at NASDAQ, but when we really started to have a conversation was right after the NASDAQ closing bell ceremony. And Tatiana, you are a person that's like a magnet, a feisty, yes, but you are a magnet to just really attracting. I feel like you share such goodness in the world that you attract like a magnet. And it's so cool to see when you're in a room talking to others, because you just have the best disposition.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that.
This is what you see is what you get with you. And that's what I love. But, Renee, that was the first time I'd physically met Tatiana, but we had talked and I'd known her, and I felt like wasn't that weird? I felt like I had known you forever. And we were already I was planning on going to Africa with y'all on the next, well, you got to get into all that, but on your next trip. We were going to Africa, and I hadn't even met you physically yet, but I felt like I had known you for years. So yes, Tatiana is absolutely that big personality and warming and welcoming. And so no wonder you're successful. But talk about your latest passion? I mean, this isn't your latest passion. It's just finally coming to fruition. So tell us about what's going on with LY2NK.
Well, in October 2018, I was given a beautiful opportunity to go to Liberia, West Africa. And I had no idea how my life was going to change. And people told me, you're going to see. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I saw National Geographic. I've seen, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I've been a teacher for 35 years. It's not going to be a big deal. It's just, more people in different countries. Yeah, okay, whatever. Oh my goodness. So I went there on a humanitarian trip with this incredible company called Awakening Giants. And look at the name, Awakening Giants. And what it is, it's a bunch of social entrepreneurs wanting to make a difference, really, is what it's all about. And I fell in love with the two women running the company. And I said yes because of the two women. If it wasn't for these Robin Burson and Sprite Loriano, I would have never gone. But I decided to put my trust in them. And I went to a place I've never been before. It was very well organized. And our mission was to do like a TED Talk, but they called it Inspire Monrovia. Monrovia is the capital of Liberia. Okay, so we did several talks there. And then we had to teach and to a bunch of different community centers, adults all over the place. And when I say teach, it's not teach like in North America, ladies, okay?
Yeah.
150 degrees, no chalk, no board, maybe a couple of broken wooden tables, and mascara running down your face, and you don't have any pens or papers or nothing, and you're supposed to inspire, right? So that was pushing myself out of the comfort zone. So I did that successfully. It was incredible. And I just went with it. And we also had to do a talk in front of 300 people, which scared the bejesus out of me. And I was crying all the way up the steps going, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I had prepared this speech for 9 hours, typical teacher. And then I was like, you can't hold the paper. So I was like, all right, I'm on this stage and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to behave like these are my students. And then I kind of started my speech, and then I was like, forget the paper. I am just going to talk from the heart. That's it, And I did that 12-minute speech. Don't ask me what I talked about, but I know I talked about empowering women. That I do know. And then we also went to villages, and we brought water filters to people that live in the woods, ladies, the woods, okay? The woods.
And then some of these people had never seen a white person ever, too, correct?
No.
Was that saying? I mean,
and I'm walking through the woods. The next thing I know, I've got 5 kids hanging off my arms. The most adorable kids, and we get into their covered huts kind of thing, and then we're with a translator explaining to them how to use these water filters. It's the first time they ever saw clean water in over 100 years, ladies. They were drinking water in the stream where they're washing motorcycles and everything else. That's what they're drinking water. And we showed them how to use the water filter and taught them how to put it all together so that they can use it once we leave. So that was the reason. And the mark the moment was when we were on national TV introducing ourselves. And all of a sudden at the end of the room, this young woman and our eyes met the minute I said, I'm all about empowering women. And you know how you hear in movies about this moment where the world stopped? And I was like, yeah, okay. It actually happened. And I was like, and then our eyes just met and the world just stopped. And from then on, my life changed because of her. And her name is Patience Zeor Zele. She's from Ghana. She was 21 at the time. And when I did that speech, I told you, she was in the audience thinking that she was like, you were speaking to me. There was no one else around. And the reason I tell you this is after I finished my Inspire Monrovia talk, I didn't know she was in the audience. She came to talk to me, got scared. Came to talk to me, got scared. Third time, I have to talk to her. I can't let her leave. So all of a sudden, this beautiful girl comes and holds my hand like this. She goes, can I just have a couple of minutes with you? And I was like, okay. And the rest is history. And I spent a little bit of time with her. And I said, what do you want from me? And she was like, I just want you as a mentor. That's all. I just want you as a mentor. And then when I left Liberia, she ran to the airport, got the car, just like in the movies, running down the sandy street. I kid you not, ladies, just to give me that one more hug before I left, because she never knew when she would see me again. And remember, I don't have any children. So can you imagine what that felt like for me? And then I came back and I couldn't be me anymore. And I cried for 2 weeks because of the abundance of the United States and the abundance of Canada. And it was December and I was still crying. We were like doing Christmas songs before we leave for the holiday, right? And I'm sitting on the bench and the kids are doing whatever from a very privileged world that we live in. And I'm looking at the floor, hiding my face as the tears are falling to the ground, as I'm noticing the beautiful gym floor compared to where I was. And I was like, that's it. I need to retire. I can't do this anymore. And I know I need to do something about it. And that something was like, I'm going to just create a foundation and just do something about it. Instead of just, crying about it, I'm just going to do something about it. And that's how LY2NK Foundation was created.
It's
Wow.
crazy. I get chills because I've heard you tell this story, but I do picture the impact, you standing up there and the impact you were making. And you changed one person so visibly, right? Think of all of other people that didn't have the bravery to come or the courage to come talk to you, right? But you still made a difference in their life. And I know you and I've talked so many times, and that's when you told that story, I was like, I'm going with you guys. Like, we gotta do something. And I mean, it was on my vision board. You remember? It was on my vision board. We were gonna go, and they got moved, and then the world kind of changed. But think about the people's lives you're changing, and just by speaking from your heart, and just by being there, and pouring into them in ways nobody's ever done that. I mean, it's just amazing.
But I'm realizing that I'm just an avenue, a conduit for many people to make a difference together. That's all I'm really doing here, because I can't do it alone, right? And I don't even know how the universe brought all these people together to help me create what I've created, because LY2NK stands for Leaders Yielding to New Knowledge. So instead of teaching on a small scale in a small city, what I'm doing is I'm starting to teach on a global scale. Mm-hmm. And all I want is to empower people, to get them sustainable, to get them successful so that I can walk away. And I don't necessarily have the answers to all, how am I going to do this? But I might as well just start. So the goal is 10 mentors, mentoring 10 leaders, 10 causes, 10 million a cause in 10 years. Little Laurel, high school teacher, saying something like that is kind of like almost insane. But you might as well put it out there and see what happens. You have
to presume sometimes the answer is yes, right? And there's so much to unpack in what you're sharing. What stands out so clearly is that you realize that little steps can make a big impact. And, Elizabeth and I know you, and we know the efforts that you pour into, but it's so important for those watching to know is everything you're doing with purpose has such an amazing cascading effect. Can you talk a little bit about the progress that you've made to date and just share?
I mean, it's been just over a year. So considering it's only been a year, it's been incredible. First and foremost, I have a group of individuals all over the world helping me with social media because they believe in the cause. Some of them are watching right now, which is incredible. And they're teaching me about social media, and we're working as a team to work on the social media to get us more awareness. So we have a Facebook group, we have a LinkedIn group, and we have an Instagram group. And these women and men are absolutely incredible. Then we also have another entity called Game in the World. So that's another group of people that's working with my partner, Darren, and they're all fundraising for our cause. So the main cause that we're working with first right now is an organization in Uganda, East Africa, in Kampala, and it's called Kids for Africa Sports Academy. So being a phys ed teacher, I totally get what they're doing. And so they're empowering young children from, disenfranchised slums and villages, 60 to speak of, and they're working with them through sports, because that's a commonality for everyone, through soccer and netball for the girls. And they don't have a high school, so they're borrowing high schools to be able to do that, or elementary schools rather, to be able to do that. So Darren and I have come in with our foundation. We found this other foundation that exists. We believe in their cause. We vetted them. So we've decided that we're going to help them build their high school. And so far, when we met Kids for Africa last year, they only had 1 acre of land purchased. So now we have a total of 8 acres of land purchased. 8 acres of land, all because of a network of conversations. You know, when I sent out the pitch deck that I created, I sent it out to this really high net worth individual who I had just met. If I said her name, you'd know, but I won't do that. And all I did was send her the pitch deck so that I would get her feedback on this pitch deck that I created. And unbeknownst to me, she wrote me in an email. She said, as I went through your pitch deck, every page I went through, I kept wanting to donate more and more and more. And the next thing I knew, I got a 7,000 USD check from this incredible woman in the United States. And my foundation wasn't even really I didn't even have the website yet. So do you know what that did to me? I cried when I got that check in the mail. I couldn't believe it. I go, I must be onto something here, you know? And so so since then we've acquired 8 acres of land. We were like really going strong. We started to put the fence around the land. We were going to go to the stage of growing the high school, building the high school, then COVID hit.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, because I know you've had so much momentum going on, and you launched and there was all this excitement and momentum going forward. How is that changing? I mean, it's obviously a global pandemic, so it's affecting those areas that you've been focused on. So how are you pivoting? How are you adjusting to that?
So, you know, with my link board, because I have my own board, and with the board of KFA, Kids for Africa, we got together and we decided to pivot. So we just had to pivot. This is temporary. So we need to keep the 60 students alive, don't we? Because this is Uganda. They live 24 hours to 24 hours. And when they are in lockdown, they cannot take care of themselves. They cannot feed themselves. So what we're doing is we're keeping these children alive on a daily basis. There's a total of 328 people over there, if we include the family of these children. And last week, I think our numbers were up to 229 of 328 that we were able to give them and supply them food and soap for 1 month. But the thing is, it's ongoing. It's ongoing. So this game in the world that we have over 30 people involved all over the world are completely on board with us. And they're also doing their own fundraising. So we have had a mother who shaved her head for Link and raised $1,000. Okay. We have had another member in the group who decided to do a live Facebook, and her brother was teaching martial arts, and she raised over $1,000. We had a group from Florida do a live band benefit concert, and he raised a couple of $100. And now we have an online gala on September 18th. And we have some stars from Nashville that are going to be part of our online gala. But this is all game in the world. People who have their own lives but believe in our cause and that are working with us and creating all kinds of fundraising.
That is amazing. When you talk about the cascading effect, right? They believe in you. They know you. We know what you are doing and what Darren is doing. And you're changing the world one step at a time. And so to have people that are not directly associated with your organization, but on their own, taking the initiative to help support an amazing cause, like that gives me chills. Like that's pretty amazing seeing people come together like that.
I also love to see that you didn't wait. You know, one of the things that Elizabeth and I have talked about on the show a lot with many of the leaders trying to navigate the last 4 months now is you don't wait for circumstances to be what you need them to be for your perceived next part of your journey. We all have to be faced with those moments where we have to say, we have to get into action, like you said, Tatiana, regardless of our circumstance and regardless of our environment, and figure it out. And you are figuring it out. I mean, you're doing a virtual fundraiser. That's amazing. You have to get into action. So kudos to you for not waiting.
And I'm giving credit to all game in the world. I'm kind of like in the background overseeing it. Darren's the one kind of running it. And I just love seeing people get empowered. That's what I love. And to see them growing as leaders, as they're all working in teams, figuring it out, the good, the bad, the ugly. But in the end, things start to happen. And I don't want to be the one necessarily in the front. I'm completely okay with being in the back. Remember, I was an identical twin. So all my life I was in the front. I do not have any need to be in front of the cameras. Put everyone else in the front, put me in the back, and let me just love on them and watch them grow and watch them get empowered and get out of their own way. Because I don't want anyone stuck in their way, because I know what that feels like. So I just want everybody that wants to do something to just feel that they're part of the right tribe and wanting to make a difference in this world. It's so incredibly important to me.
So what's the next big goal? Like, obviously you have the gala and everybody's raising money for this cause, but what is your big goal right now with the unknown in front of us? Besides the month to month, obviously you want to, I think you're probably wanting to help more children and more families, right? It doesn't sound like you have 100% right now. So is that like your first focus, where you're just trying to make sure that they have the needs that they have, you know, for the coming months?
I have to deal with the reality of the situation, right? We've got to keep them alive with this organization that we're working with. And the goal of this organization is not only just a high school, but a 30-acre sustainable community where you get the parents involved, the teachers involved, the students involved, everybody involved. And we also teach entrepreneurship and also the Ugandan school curriculum, which is not like American. It's similar yet different. Because it's just a different country and different circumstances. So yeah, they'll be taught the curriculum, but we're really going to push for sustainability and entrepreneurship. And the other part that I'm passionate about is these humanitarian trips. I'm so excited because we have a long list of people. We want to come. We want to come. I was like, we can't take 100 people the first time. I'm only going to take 10. And I'm going to pick and choose who I can take to begin with to make sure that we do a good job, because it's got to be organized. And having been a teacher for 35 years, it's doable. Like I've done so many field trips across the country with little munchkins. Taking 10 adults, 15 adults is not so scary. But that's the next thing, because then that's going to really move, because we already have people, for example, in Game in the World, who's an architect, and he goes, I'm going to get together some of my architectural friends, and we're going to donate our time, and we're going to create all the drawings for the school, because we want to give our talents, our time, our treasures are our talent, not time, talent. No, wait a minute.
That's
that.
right.
Time, treasure.
Time, talent, treasure.
And so the government wants to give us our talents, and other people want to give us our time, and other people want to give us our treasures. Bring it on, bring it on. We just have to do it in an organized fashion, one step at a time. And what does the future hold? I'm not, as a teacher, when you're a teacher, you have no idea the amount of times I was given insane situations that most people could not handle. And I used to say to myself, as you said at the beginning, Renee, you have to have it perfectly ready before you can move forward. But sometimes you can't. So sometimes you just move forward, and it's called building the plane as you're flying it. As long as you have the best intentions, and as long as you're doing the best that you can at the time that it's happening, I could put my head on the pillow at the end of the day, and I'm fine, as long as I knew I gave it my 100%. Next year will be better. The year after will be better, right? It's better than not doing anything at all.
Quit getting ready to get ready. Right? Quit. Yeah. It's not perfection. It's failing forward kind of a thing. But one thing that's just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. Renee and I have talked long and hard, because our kids are friends, and and we have a lot of, our kids are kind of going stir crazy, but never in a million years, or since this whole pandemic started, have any of my mama friends or any of the schools or any of our community had to say, our goal is to keep the kids alive. That is just overwhelming to me, because when you say that, you're truly saying that, because that is the goal. And when that is the first goal, like all this other stuff and the inconveniences and the boredom or the stir craziness, like that is so minimal, because we never have to think or worry about that.
Yeah.
Right? When that's a true goal and a focus, like golly.
And they're the
Yeah,
last to ask. They're such
yeah.
proud people. Never once did they ask, never once.
That's just a lot. That's heavy. I mean, those are people's families. Those are their children. I don't have to worry about keeping my children. I mean, I do. Levi might try to jump off the roof, but like truly, I don't have to worry about keeping my children alive.
Well, it's
So
the
I know what you're doing
in
is so
Uganda.
incredible.
It's the rainy season right now in Uganda, and I got a video of a family and the water pouring in the house, okay, up to their, the mid of their calves, fish everywhere, and they're catching the fish because that's what they're going to eat. And they're smiling. And I'm going, oh my God. So when you look at something like that, and then you wonder about our problems, we don't have any problems. We don't have any problems.
When you experience that, you've truly been changed. So, and I love that you came back and you were like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to create this foundation. We're going to change lives, even if it's one person.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, it's amazing. I'm so proud for y'all. I'm so excited for what you guys are doing. And I mean, I even know, Renee, I don't know if you followed them much, but Darren would always do Facebook Lives and walking through, and I couldn't wait for those updates. I'm like, okay, what are they doing now? And seeing how these families are living and they're normal. And it's just like, we have no reason to complain.
No, absolutely not. And so it's a passion. And so Darren and I are building wealth only to be able to give back. Yes, I want to be comfortable. Who doesn't? But at the same time, we're just driven to wanting to make a difference. And I don't want to build wealth just for me and Darren. I want to build wealth for me and my team, right? So Darren and I, every month we coach and we mentor our team that we have, and we give back to them. So we're giving back tenfold to the people that come and be part of our team. And we have so much fun doing it. We create such a community, such a family, and we make a difference in their lives as much as them making a difference in our lives, and as much as the team making a difference in other people's lives. I just, I talk to patients every single day. She got out of the hospital again, third time with malaria, and our photographer, our videographer just, a month ago got over typhoid and didn't know how to get back home. So, and he didn't even ask for help. And when he came over from the country that he was in, I always forget the country that he was in out of, because he was on a photo shoot, because he was able to sustain himself as a photographer. But when he got back in, he got put into lockdown into a hotel for 2 weeks of quarantine. So they fed him, but they wouldn't give him water, and he didn't have money for water. He didn't have money for water.
Wow.
For water.
So, yeah. And so Darren and I, we don't have any children. So we're just,
that's your children. That's your love. Yeah.
Yeah. And all these people, even patients, she's working with Link right now. She's helping to create content. Henry, our photographer, is helping to create content. Marvin, who with Kids for Africa creates content. So it's just every day is moving the needle forward, even if it's just a minute forward, as long as I feel that we're moving the needle a little bit. Where are we going to go from here? I'm not going to lie and create some grandiose plan. The truth is, I don't know right now. I might as well just say the truth. I don't know. As long as COVID is around and they're in lockdown the way that they are, right? I don't want patients off the compound. Don't you dare. So we send her money for 3 months. She goes to the market to get enough money for 3 months, and she doesn't have to leave the compound unless she gets ill to go to the hospital. I don't want them out there because it's not safe. There is not social distancing the way that you're capable of social distancing over here. It scares the bejesus out of me if she has to end up in a hospital. And then what? And then what? What am I going to be able to do from here?
What is the reaction, or what was the reaction when y'all went over there and you're doing all the things? I mean, is everybody welcomed over there? I mean, it's such a different country and culture, and I've not been, and so I will go one day. But what is that like? Were people skeptical, or what is that?
No, they are the warmest, sweetest, most positive people I've ever met in my life. They have nothing and they are just thrilled to be in your presence and to learn from whatever just their smiles. I used to say to Darren, you know what? If the people from Africa were in where we lived, then we'd really have it all, because they just accept you immediately and they want to share with you whatever they can. We went to villages and they fed us when they don't have enough food for themselves. Willing to give their shirt off their backs. They're so appreciative of anything. They're so hungry for whatever you want to teach them, but also they're extremely proud, which I really liked. They do not behave like victims. They make lemons out of lemonade. Yeah. Really. It's just all the people that I was around. That's why I kept in contact with many of them now. It's what an incredible, we have a lot to learn from them. To have so little but be so rich emotionally and mentally, and how they just keep going. Patience cracks me up as she shows me that she eats chicken feet for a meal with peanut butter. And totally okay with that, and we just laugh about it. And I was like, honey, when I get you here, you ain't going to be eating no chicken feet.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think I'd pass on that delicacy.
But they're just so positive about everything. They go to the well, they get their water, they don't have electricity, they deal with it. They just deal with it, and they're good. They when you grow up in that kind of life, you don't necessarily view your life as poor because that's how you grow up. They don't act like they're poor. We're the ones who view them that way, but they don't view themselves as poor.
Well, that's what I was wondering, when you have a whole new culture coming in and changing things the way y'all are changing things and adding infrastructure and schools. And that's what I was wondering. How is that received? So
we have to be very, very careful. We have to be very, very culturally careful and sensitive. Ethnocentrism. This is a new word that my team taught me. So ethnocentrism is taking our own mentality and assuming that it's the same over there. That's the simplest way of explaining it. And without realizing it, we impose our ideas and our culture onto theirs. So for example, they eat chicken feet and it's okay for them, but we say, ooh, but we can say, ooh, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong that they eat chicken feet.
Right.
Yeah. They grew up that way. Right. So it's just to be really careful about all that. So as we go in there, we're extremely careful of not coming in as the white folk that are going to save the world. That's not what we're doing at all. Okay. We're in complete partnership with them, and we let them lead and support them along the way. We are not the one going, hey, I'm going to save you and show you the right way. No, they don't need saving. They just need a partnership. So that's what this is all about. Just
Tatiana, what you said earlier was so powerful about, your focus, even going back years ago, was empowering others, right? And so there's so much good that you're doing, and the partnerships that you're building, that you're nurturing, that's about the empowerment of them becoming their best self and what that means to them. It doesn't mean what it means to you or what it means to someone else's culture. It's what they are seeking to be their best self. Those are lessons for all of us to learn.
And so, for example, with Patience, I gave her a little bit of money. She went and bought she had her own idea. She bought clothes. She sold clothes. She made money. And you know what she did with that money? And she asked for some help. She then went and bought herself a second-hand car. She was about to start her own taxi business. And she thought about that all by herself. And because it's not safe for a woman to drive a taxi, she found a father in her compound who was going to drive her car. They were on a split, and he was going to do that. Then COVID hit. So I was all about empowering her, not necessarily, I just wanted to empower her, help her figure it out for herself, do whatever I could, but I didn't want to make her codependent. I don't want anybody to become codependent on us. I want to be able to empower them, create sustainability so that we can walk away.
Teaching them
and that they can
feeding them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You are amazing. I am so excited to see how this continues to blossom and blow up. I mean, in such a positive way, and the impact you're going to make not only in this community, but how many other communities are you going to impact? It's just going to be, it's already been amazing to watch the journey and kind of be involved, although we're not really involved, but hear your story. I'm just excited to see what's next.
Yeah. It's how much I've changed in the last 4 years from being an employee to where I am right now. Like, you ladies are entrepreneurs, and I respect you so much for that. And what I want to say is that living 35 years as an employee, I kid you not, I feel like I was reborn. I had no idea that entrepreneurship used to even exist. I kid you not. And now that I've figured out that this tribe exists, it's like, wow, oh my God, what a difference compared to just working at your job, being told when to come in, when to leave, what you can do, what you cannot do, compared to working on your own, being your own boss, achieving whatever maximum you want to achieve, where the sky is the limit, all motivated by your own internal intrinsic motivation. To me, that is absolutely incredible. And the world of entrepreneurship is all about generosity. It's all about compassion, and it's all about teamwork. And I'm just so addicted to this tribe, and especially the tribe of women that you are in. It's just unbelievable to me. That's why I was so attracted to being friends with you ladies.
Well, that is super sweet. But I'm blessed to have you both in my world. And it's just so fun how people, there's no reason we would have ever met otherwise. We couldn't be on more opposite ends. You're in Vancouver, you're in Orlando, I'm in Austin. And it's just, yeah, there's a reason. And
there are no coincidences.
There are no coincidences. So this might be a tough question for you. We have one last question before we let you go. Okay. This might be a tough one. You might have to think on it. Okay. What does leadership from the heart mean to you?
Oh my goodness. Now you're going to make me cry.
Oh, don't do that, because then we'll all start crying.
I know.
You know, ladies, leadership from a heart is to accept where anyone is in their lives and to not pass judgment and opinion on how it should be. My God, I used to be very different than that. And it's all about practicing compassion and generosity and being okay with wherever that person is, and to not expect them to be where they're not when they're not ready. All we need to be is be there in support of them without pushing them and waiting. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And who's to say that at 12 o'clock on July 15th, you're supposed to be ready? Who's supposed to say that, right? Everybody goes through, we come into this world with a soul contract. I really believe that, because I never used to believe in this energy stuff. I completely believe in energy in the universe now. So we come into this world with a soul contract, and you don't know it, but you are going through whatever you're going through in the journey of your life, and whatever the universe gives you, you're gonna take it head on, and you're gonna face whatever you have to face when you are ready. And nobody can make you face what you are needing to face any sooner that you are ready to face it. And maybe you can't face it in this lifetime. And that's okay. Maybe you can face it. I started to look at it when I was 40. I have younger women working with me who are 20 who are starting to look at it. But why wasn't I ready when I was 20? Because I wasn't. It wasn't my path. So I think most important than anything else is, how do you enroll people, empower people, make them feel valued, take responsibility for when you mess up. Don't impose your thoughts and your ways of doing things. Just believe in them, show them that whatever they want to do, they can accomplish. If they don't get it in the first time, second time, third time, 10th time, 11th time, 12th time, does that make them wrong? No. Just treat them as if you're telling them for the first time. And because they don't get it 10 times and you get it the first time, doesn't make you any better. Because there's going to be something else that you're going to need 100 times explanation that they don't get. So everybody's reality is completely different. And to respect their learning styles, to respect where they are in their lives, and to not impose, but to make them feel worthy. And I've been guilty of not doing that in the past. And I had a huge wake-up call when I was 40. And I was mortified to realize what it was like to be on the other side of me. Is that what it's like to be on the other side of receiving my message? That was a huge wake-up call. And from that day on, there hasn't been a day I haven't been working on bettering myself to leave people being touched, moved, and inspired by my presence instead of being intimidated, scared, and felt less than. And I don't have a problem admitting that. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't know I was doing it. It was a huge blind spot. And I'm proud to tell people that I've figured out this blind spot. And you know what? Every week I get a new one. Every week I see a new blind spot. It's forever growing, forever growing. But I just want to let people feel good when I leave them. That's what leadership from the heart is all about.
You make us feel good.
We sure love you. Wow. You're just awesome. I wish I could hug you both right now.
Hug, 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 group hug.
I know. We so miss you. You are just amazing, and always let us know how we can help you. You are a passionate and feisty. I like that feisty, Elizabeth,
Feisty.
you said.
I do. I like feisty.
Tatiana, you are passionate and feisty. It's amazing.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. Tatiana, where can people find out more information about LY2NK? Where are the best sources for them to go to?
It's easy. The website is the letter L like lemon, Y like yellow, and LY2, the number 2. So LY2, and then N like Nancy, K. So LY2NK.org, LY2NK.org. That's the best place to see. And then you can find us the same way, on Facebook, on Instagram, LY2NK Foundation on Instagram, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn. That's the best way. You can reach out immediately, and you want to be part of our team. You want to be part of Game in the World. You want to come on a humanitarian trip that I'll be planning. Just reach out, and let's just make the impossible possible. Because when there's this quote, let me just go read my quote because I'm so nervous. Or did I get rid of that quote? It is when I'm going to try to remember. When people get together with love, the impossible is able to be created. That's something like that. That's my quote, and I believe in it. And it's all about love and acceptance and teamwork. And so you just have to just love on people so much and get together. And even if it's impossible, it doesn't matter. You don't think about it. You just do it anyway. You move forward, and you just figure it out as you figure it out. It's that simple. Just do it.
Well, next time you come on with us, I hope you bring a little more energy, please. No, we just love you. We adore you. We want to know. We want you to keep us posted, and we want to have you come back on and share with us the progress and the wins that you're experiencing over there. And just thank you for making a difference.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for making a difference. I mean, I'm so proud of this podcast that you have going on. I'm so proud of you as two individuals, how you raise your families, who you are, your values that you stand for. This is why I'm so proud to be on this podcast, because we all really of the same cloth, made of the same cloth, want to make a difference and push ourselves out of our comfort zone. No matter how scary, we do it anyway. And then you know what? When you look back, you go, what was I afraid of?
Yeah.
That's the part that I've learned so many times. What was I afraid of? Because once you actually push through it, you look back and you go, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yep.
Okay. What's next?
What's next? You have to come back and let us know what's next.
Next time I'll have the tech stuff a little bit more organized, and I won't be such a hair on fire hot mess that you know and love dearly.
Oh, you're not a hair on fire. We love you. Big hearts.
Big hearts.
Love you. Bye,
Love
sweetie.
you, Tatiana. Take care. Thank you for coming on the show.